Okay, what's up, y'all? Sorry for my condition. It's super hot here in the PNW, and it's the end of the month, which means we're all killing ourselves to pay our bills, put food on our family. Thanks very much, Joe Biden, for all of that. I told you I'd get back to you. I want to cover the Alex Jones defamation penalty trial, and let's again just be super clear about what's going on right now. They have already been judged by a jury, found guilty of defamation in the case with the Sandy Hook families, right? I mean, so that's not a thing. And the goth judge, who I kind of like now, she's a goth, right? Is that judge a goth in this trial? If you guys aren't watching the trial, it's on Law and Crime right here on YouTube. You guys can check it out. Whoa, there's a lot to say in all of this. So today, doing my research, I found out that Alex Jones's new Porsche driving lawyer, because he just looks like that guy, like a douchebag that drives a Porsche, to the clubs and whatnot. I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm being a little judgmental, but come on. That's been his whole shtick against Mark Bankston, calling him an ambulance chaser and an injury lawyer, flipping him off the other day in court. He got admonished for that. It almost looks like he's trying to throw the trial. Did Alex hire the wrong person to represent him? I don't know. Let's see. Because Endino Renell is his name. And, he got his start because he was appointed as a prosecutor by Eric Holder. Whoa, wait a minute. Are you saying that Obama's attorney general, the guy that was running guns down to the cartels in Mexico, got caught, right, in that? Fast and Furious, that guy, the same guy who I know you're all very mad at Steve Bannon for not obeying the orders of the court to go testify and forgo his Fifth Amendment right not to incriminate himself. Same thing Eric Holder did in those cases. He appointed Alex Jones's new Porsche driving attorney, Mr. Slick himself, and Dino Royale. Reynal. Sorry. Get the names right. And then, of course, this is how it works. You're a prosecutor and successful, and then you go become a defense attorney. And so you go from prosecuting, this guy was like on the mafia detail, organized crime, drug cartels, white-collar crime, all of that. And now you're defending these people. I guess it's fitting, but I'm wondering if he's throwing it. Who could be this bad of a fucking lawyer? How could you be possibly this bad of a lawyer? His objections are ludicrous and ridiculous. His court behavior is certainly suspect. I mean, if I'm Alex right now, I'm looking going, whoa, why did I hire this guy now? Because he sucks. And so some of the things we're finding out in the trial is I'm just kind of catching up. I think I'm on day 2 or 3 right now. That Wolfgang Halbig wasn't who he said he was, which I told you back then. That guy's a habitual liar. I don't know. He's just so incompetent and such a monster how he was writing the parents of Sandy Hook and some of the things he was doing for publicity and money, let's not forget. Because I used to think, maybe this guy's a double agent or an agent and he's just trying to create all this subterfuge so we'll never really know what happened at Sandy Hook, which I still want to know. We stopped our investigations early on just because what use is it now? Everything that's going to be under the hoax banner. So, and I got a little emotional because I have kids and, it's like, what if that was my kid and someone was doing this to me and off of some dumb circumstantial evidence of 16 questions or whatever. But we found out that Wolfgang W. Halbig was a liar. He lied about his background. And not only that, it came out in the trial, Steve Pachesnik also is a guy that's a liar. That Alex Jones and those guys never did anything to confirm who these experts they were shoving down the throats of their fans and listeners to, and viewers. It reeks of incompetence, but it's not incompetence, because I've been there. I've been sitting in the seat with documents. I'm like, here are the documents, secret documents we had from the toll roads back in the day. And I told this to other people. Don't mind repeating it. Didn't want to look at them. I'm like, well, this is what the documents say. And they were pretty damning because we had a guy that snuck out these documents, and boy, no one really wanted to cover that. And at least Alex was going to cover it, so good. I went on a show to do that and never looked at the They don't care. See, all they have to do is call one person at the FBI or whatever to verify, and I used to do that all the time. One guy by myself, not with a team, a massive team of people, I would call and verify, because if you're not just some nut that's writing me and making claims, I want to know that. I want to know like who I'm talking to, and before I verify and put my reputation on the line and yours, because you're going to repeat this stuff to your people, right? I want to make sure I know who I'm talking to. And they didn't do that, and they never did that. And it just makes you wonder, like, how many of the experts that everybody fell in love with on InfoWars were either agents, complete agents, like, let's face it, Jim Fetzer's a double agent. I mean, that guy's a wrecker. He's a wrecker. He would go in. We saw him do that with 9/11. I watched him personally just wreck with his no planes bullshit. Just wreck everything. That guy, he did the same thing with the JFK. That's how he got his start. See, you don't have to work, per se, for the FBI to be one of these guys, to be an asset. You just get in trouble, or, I don't know, maybe for the money, some people do it. Victor Thorne was another guy I know that certainly used to work for American Free Press, certainly was a double agent, okay? COINTELPRO, all the way for the money, and probably because, just speaking of Victor Thorne real quick, because you know what he did to me, and everyone else, Alex Jones included. He used to drive a taxi cab, and he was selling drugs. He got caught, and this is how he kind of worked it off. And then, of course, just like Whitey Bulger or anyone else, you get paid. You get paid informant, paid infiltrator. But this is the thing. Like when you're at a protest, we just saw this at the January 6th thing with Ray Epps, and he was going out and telling people to storm the Capitol the day before, and people were saying, "Get out of here, agent." We saw that with the farm protest, the Dutch farm protest, and when they had cops come in posing as protesters, trying to disrupt things, and they're like, Fed, agents, get them out of here. Like, how do you not know that? Well, you don't care. That's why. This is the thing about it. You just don't care. Because if it sells merchandise, if it gets you hits on your website, you don't care. So Alex was late to the whole Sandy Hook hoax party. He waits. I've seen him do this. He waits to see that it's really popular, then he goes in and takes it over, and then owns it and makes all the money off of it, right? And that's what he did, and that's why they didn't care who they knew. I mean, there's inter-office emails that have come out in this trial. They knew that Wolfgang Halbig was crazy and that Jim Fetzer was crazy. The same things we were saying back in the very day. These guys are nuts. They're either nuts or they're feds. Like, what's the difference? I checked these guys out. Nothing added up. And even if it did add up, your cred is you work for the Department of Homeland Security. Am I getting ahead of myself? Because I'm super busy today. And then we saw, I think on day 2, what's her name? Daria Karpova, right? She was a producer at InfoWars. I'm trying to figure out with her if she's the same Russian double agent. Right, I know this sounds paranoid, but you have to know when you're working like myself and Alex Jones and other people, and you're at the very top, man, you are surrounded constantly by people like this. Don't be a fool. If you're going to speak at an event and there's 1,000 people there, 10 of them are feds or infiltrators, minimalists. You got to know. You got to be a little bit aware of this. And we were up for the anniversary for 9/11. I'm going to guess it was the 5th anniversary for 9/11. It's kind of a big deal. We were in New York City for that, and, this one Russian chick who just stuck out, whose friend had a cigar boat, took us out, tried to we got pulled over by Homeland Security, speaking of which, because they were buzzing the Statue of Liberty in this, what do they call them, cigar boats, scarabs, offshore racing boat, right? $500,000 boat, $1 million boat this guy has. And this Russian chick I'm not going to mention his name because I'm not looking for any kind of blowback like that. And she was on me, man. And I'm like, no, 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 man. I'm married. Not me. But then later, I think it was that same weekend, we were down in the village, and there she is again at the bar where we're all hanging out, and Alex like had a thing for her, right? And she was hot, man, no doubt. Super honeypot, right? And like experienced, knew how to seduce men. You know what I'm saying? And he was drunk and he fell for it. And I pulled him over. I interrupted him, right? And I pulled him over. I'm like, I think that bitch is fucking. Sorry for my language. Say for kids, if you didn't notice. I think this chick is either KGB or CIA or both. I don't know, man. But she don't smell right. You be careful, man. And you know what? Wanted to fight me because he was hot for her. So I don't know. She kind of looks like this producer, Daria Karpova, who is just getting crushed. Like, no, come on. Guarantee you Alex tapped that. Big old fat, hairy Alex Jones, bald, hairy. Sorry. See, I got hair. Check it out. I do. I don't wear it up or anything. Pretty good for an almost 60-year-old dude, right? No, I got a lot of hair. That's one thing in the trial. You get to see Alex Jones from the back. You normally don't get to see that. He probably don't want you to know. One of my many attributes. I got a body like a rock star, and I got hair. I'm broke as fuck, but and I'm not famous like Alex Jones. But you know what? Don't matter. This chick was she looked like she'd done coke in the bathroom. She was scratching herself, had some fentanyl in it. She on the stage, just getting crushed by Bankston. Just crushed, man. Doesn't remember the judge is like, hey, I told you months before to read your deposition. I was deposed for this trial, right? So if I'm going to go in on the stand and testify, and the judge is going to tell me months ahead of time, make sure you go back and reread, what you said in the deposition, because they're going to ask you about it, and I don't remember is not going to fly. And that's exactly what this Russian chick tried to do. I mean, the shit that's coming out in this trial, it's things I've been saying for a really long time, It's just, I'm going to tell you something, just years ago, because my family got ruined by Alex Jones. We got canceled and blacklisted and censored and all the stuff he claims that people do to him. And he's the originator of that. He's the guy, as I've said before in other interviews, that calls me every night to tell me who I can't have on the show, who's blacklisted. One time he called me the kid that I was sitting with who ended up becoming a district attorney and a lawyer, right? Daniel Abramson, sitting right at the table with me. And he's going, I don't want you to have anything more to do with that Daniel Abramson. And I put him on speakerphone, and he heard this whole conversation about how he's being blacklisted. You know the result of that, and it's probably my fault. He quit. He quit the movement, and he was one of our best people. Like Webster Tarpley, but not a sellout. Sorry, Webster, but you did too. Webster's one of the people that told me, by the way, and that's one good thing I'll say about him, Mr. Tarpley, who was a Lyndon LaRouche guy to the very end, okay? If you didn't know that. I knew it, and I told you that. But he's one of the people, Jim Mars, a couple of people, man, they told me how I was blacklisted. So I didn't just imagine it, okay? It really happened. But I was just talking about how it's interesting. My wife, God love her, man, 23 years she's been with me. She's seen all of this. She's been to all the events that we went to. When Alex would tell me, familiarity breeds contempt. Don't go to too many things, right? And I go, man, I have to go. People need me down there. No, don't go to that. Don't talk to that person. Don't work with these people. Oh, those 9/11 truthers, yeah, they said something bad about me once, so F them. But my wife, because this has always bothered me. I'm like, God, if I just would have handled things better, maybe I'd still have my career and things would be good for me. And not that they're not. I have a good life, trust me, and a good wife. And she said, someday this karma is going to come back on Alex Jones, and then we're watching it right now. And I got to tell you, I kind of like it. I don't like to see this shit happen to anyone, but look, man, if you're that kind of a monster, that you would sick your audience on people whose kids were killed, you know, if you would, I mean, and it's just not the first time, man, if you would exploit people to the way you exploit them, you deserve what you're getting. You absolutely deserve it. So one of the things that came up, I know, in the opener is Alex agreed. Nope, I was duped by Jim Fetzer and Wolfgang Halbig and all the rest. I was just duped. I just fell for it, and boy, I sure learned. He's admitted it. His own lawyer, Alex's own lawyer, this Eric Holder approved now defense lawyer, and Dino right now. Alex saw the world through dirty glasses. He admits it. He was wrong. So much for the Alex is right stuff, right? He is wrong. And we all are wrong sometimes. But to be wrong on something like this, man, that's why I was very careful. And I took a lot of shit for it. And maybe some of you still believe that it's all a hoax. I mean, tell me then why these families are suing in such a public arena Alex Jones with full disclosure. And you're just seeing it all coming out in the trial. Full disclosure of all the shit they lied about. Lied to you, the listeners, the donors, the people that buy all the crap at InfoWars. Man, they took you for suckers. I said that on the last video. You know, and I've known a lot of people in radio and media. I ran 50,000 watt multi-million dollar stations. I've met a lot of shitbags in my day. And most of them had that in common. They had disdain for the very people who were supporting them and making them money. I had a boss once, I'm not going to mention his name or what station, because I worked at a bunch of them, who would openly mock people that were paying him money. What suckers they were. You know, and eventually I got the fuck out of there. It's a cesspool, right? And I don't think it's any better now that everything's on the internet. It's a massive cesspool. It's a cesspool I got out of, man, for a long time. I'm only back in it now because I'm just not seeing the kind of information and reporting that I think needs to be done and said. I just see a lot of people exploiting you, the fans, and whatnot for money, for views, for clicks, for all the rest of it, man. And I finally got to a point, I didn't want to be involved in all this crap, man. I just didn't want to, you know, man, I don't want to be put in a box. I don't want to take sides. I don't want to take heat. I don't want to have grenades thrown through my window as it happened once. I don't want to be sued by international law firms. You know, I don't want to be threatened. I don't want to have to sleep with a shotgun under my pillow because I have documents no one else has. I don't want to be threatened like I was by the cartels. You know what they told me? You know what they told me? And this really sunk in, man. The cartels, because we were doing a lot of work. And I had inside people over there, and they told me, there's the message for you, Jack Blood. First of all, no one cares. No one cares what you're reporting. It's not going to hurt us. And secondly, we'll kill you and your whole family. So I just got, I'm just out of that. Like, I didn't want to do that anymore. Now my son is a man and, out of the house, basically, and I don't have to put his life at risk. I just rethought a lot of this stuff, so that's why I'm reporting on it. There's just so much to say about the stupid trial, but I gotta admit, I thought the Johnny Depp trial was kind of entertaining, in a lot of ways. And Amber Heard's lawyers were completely incompetent. I'm starting to see the same pattern going on here. And Alex Jones can break out and give press conferences and talk about it's a kangaroo court. Of course it's a kangaroo court. It's a money judgment. Usually they do these at the same time. I don't know why this one's different, but you've already been found guilty. That judgment is already done. Okay, that trial already happened. You fired those lawyers. They lost the case. You've been found guilty. Right or wrong, man. So yeah, it's a kangaroo court because you're guilty. They're just trying to figure out, how accountable you should be Bankston wants 150 million bucks out of it. He wants them to pay 100. He wants them to pay and pay hard, right? And here's a lesson to you guys doing content. Is it worth it to jump on the hoaxer bandwagon or whatever to get a few clicks? Because I guarantee you this has already cost Alex Jones tens of millions of dollars, not just in legal fees, but to platforming, for whatever publicity he got and whatever clicks he got and the money he made, short term, long term, man, not worth it. And if this judgment comes down the way I think it's going to, I mean, the guy's done. He's gonna have to be O.J. Simpson hiding his money under a mattress somewhere, and which he got gold bearing in his backyard or what have you. So good luck getting it out of him. But any money he makes over and above is going to these victims. That's your money. The money you donated. The money you put in because you believed in InfoWars. That's your money, man. The same way I used to tell people that would donate, old ladies that would donate $10,000 or whatever. He's paying taxes on that. While telling other people to not pay taxes. I mean, he's a liar and a thief and a megalomaniac, and now it's all coming out, man. So, I may not live in a castle and be world famous and have, name drops by Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump or what have you, man. Thanks. I don't want that. Not at that price. Not worth it. I'll drop it here, and then we'll come back either tomorrow or very soon. I want to cover more of this trial. I'm not trying to, exploit this or beat it. But having, I know my name's going to come up at some point because everyone else I know is. And so just so you know, I was deposed under oath. Can't lie, right? I can't commit perjury. So I told the truth. I'm not trying to hurt anyone, I'm not, me, I'm not like a big believer in the criminal justice system as a whole. But sometimes it just works out. One way or another, it just works out. All right, you crazy diamonds, shine on and stay bold. I'm Jack Blood. Please support us. jackblood@hotmail.com. If you want to kick in a couple of bucks so I can keep doing stuff like this, that'd be cool. jackblood@hotmail.com. We do PayPal and Zelle. That'd be great. Click on the like. Click on the subscribe. Click on the notification if you would. Don't crush it. Don't hurt yourself. Just lightly tap it. And every time I do something live, that will come up, and then you'll get notified when we post things like this. Okay. Love you guys. Bye.